ba ba doo ba ba dee boo boo ba 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 doo ba ba da.
For TIFE, but we do use TEFI. It's just it's not as natural for us to tap into that headspace.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I wouldn't say that still. It's just, you know, I would say it is natural for us to tap into that headspace. It's just maybe we don't do it in the same way as people that would be the Fs.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely, actually.
and especially for something like feeling, there's so many different ways to have emotion.
Well, yeah, and I should clarify something
Yeah.
one of the biggest problems with this theory actually is the terminology. Thinking and feeling makes it sound like idiot versus intelligent, right?
Yeah, that's
logical
true.
people.
It's a little biased there.
Logical people have emotions, right? They're humans.
Yeah.
Value-oriented people, feelers, emotional people still use logic.
Yeah,
It's like you could not figure out anything ever without logic. And so it's not really about feeling versus thinking. I think the best way of looking at it is
preferences.
It is, but I think it's truth versus value.
Okay.
So people that are thinkers like me and you, we primarily evaluate things in terms of their truth, their accuracy, their validity.
Okay.
And secondarily, we evaluate them in terms of their goodness or badness. Whereas a feeler, their mental space is composed of, okay, is this thing good? Is this thing bad? How can I make this thing better? And then secondarily, they use logic to understand, well, okay, maybe this isn't even worthwhile. Maybe this isn't true. Maybe this thing that I held to be valid or valuable is not actually true, and so I need to discredit it. And so it's all about which one your mind goes to first. But every person has some combination of all. Every person uses logic. Every person thinks in terms of value.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same thing with intuition versus sensation. That makes it sound like some animal with no mind versus like some wizard, right? Everyone wants to be an intuitive thinker. And so that's one of the problems with the theory. I think it should be more like, I don't know, abstract versus concrete or something like that. But even that, no one wants to think that they're not abstract.
Yeah, I've always struggled with the S. I've always been, I don't know. It's always been confusing to me.
Yeah, I think the terminology is very poor, and so it could definitely use a revamp.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you said it was derived from Jung, I wonder if it was originally German and was implanted to America.
Ooh.
I wonder who's the first person.
Right, yeah. Totally. It could be a translation thing.
Yeah.
Hepatitis.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, man.
Yeah.
But moving down that line.
It'd probably be easy to look it up on Wikipedia. So pause the video, look it up, and leave it in the comments.
It probably would be.
So,
yeah. We'll fix that in post.
Yeah.
So moving down the line, following introverted thinking is its partner, extroverted feeling. So that means that our value judgments tend to be about what is best for others or the group that we're involved in, rather than what is best for ourselves. And so that can lead us to being a little bit. We can come off as ingenuine because we don't have that like warm introverted feeling that is constantly.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's not me.
No.
Warm introverted feeling.
That's not you, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. So and that's really interesting. Dude.
Yeah.
As ENTPs and also ESTPs, their absolute weakest function, also known as their kind of like their blind spot, like it can kind of control them, or they don't even realize that they use it. Is actually introverted feeling, and so that is our absolute weakest function. We don't have that like internal warmth that constantly evaluates our like actual personas, our identities. Like every person is concerned with identity, but we are far less concerned with it than like an FI dominant person might be.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Identity is a tough one.
Yeah.
Identity is a tough one. That's all I have to say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
I added absolutely nothing to that.
Yeah, great. Glad I brought you along. But anyway, extroverted feeling has a tendency to kind of make affordances for people.
Yeah.
So we may recognize that, hey, we're just an individual in a larger group, and so it feels very natural to us to just kind of go with the flow of what other people are doing, like put our needs secondary. Like if someone else wants to go do another random thing, we just kind of jump into it and we're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And it relates very well with agreeableness, and so That's why I think I can maybe be a little bit more agreeable than you are, is because I think I have stronger FE, whereas you have stronger TI than I do.
Yeah. I suppose I'm not very agreeable, am I?
Well, I mean, when I know you, you absolutely are. But like with the help desk, like they hated you and they did not hate me, and it's because I have that. I'm just a little bit better at navigating social atmospheres.
Yeah, I was just trying to I was just trying to get what I wanted as quickly as possible.
I know, and that's something that people with low FE like you and I tend to not realize how we're coming off, or we're just like, okay, we're trying to do this in a certain way, and like we don't even necessarily consider how we affected other people until afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if I was the total opposite, if I was like the total opposite Myers-Briggs, I wonder what we'd be talking about right now. Be interesting.
If you were the total opposite Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, if I was
a
like
different type?
Yeah, if it was like what would it be? What would it be? Like
opposite. It depends on your
like
definition.
an introverted sensing, feeling,
yeah.
judging, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that the opposite of each type is actually they're like inverse. So opposites here are actually more similar. The ENTP is more similar to the ISFJ than the ENTP is to the ENTJ.
How was that?
So the way that those four letters, like I told you, they're a code. And so ENTPs and ISFJs have the exact same functions. They use all the same ones, just in a different preferential order. So an ENTP, their first function is NE, their last one is SI. An ISFJ, their first one is SI, their last one is NE. So overall, they're extremely similar. They view things very similarly, but they process the information differently because of that different preferential order. Whereas an ENTJ, for example, completely changes all the functions used. So an ENTP is NE, TI, FE, SI, right? But an ENTJ is actually TE, NI, SE, FI. Completely different set of functions by changing, because J and P are essentially like the unlockers of the code. J and P are the fundamental things that change or determine the type.
Okay.
So an ISFJ and ENTP, they're kind of inverses, and their weaknesses and strengths feed each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually interesting. I think we could talk about the differences between P and J if you're still interested.
Sure.
I don't know. It seems like we're losing you.
I don't know.
It's okay if you don't want to.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about all of this. It's interesting.
Do you want to stop?
Yeah, let's stop.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Should we do an outro?
Outro.